Hi everyone. For this week's asynchronous video submission, I'll be discussing about the recent tension between the United States and China that is still ongoing, and it is an article that explains how both countries are still in the process of negotiating trade policies, tariffs, and economic cooperation while also competing for um, global influence and economic power. Um, the article focuses on how the United States and China remain economically hostile but also connected despite political tensions between them, right? Even though both countries rely heavily on trade with one another, they are also trying to protect their own industries and reduce dependence on each other in important sectors like technology, manufacturing, and infrastructure. Um, this directly connects to the concepts we discussed in class regarding political economy. One major concept from this week is that governments do not simply allow markets to operate um, completely freely on their own, or the invisible hand, as economists call it, but instead, states often intervene in the economy to protect national interests, strengthen domestic industries, and maintain political power. And a strong example of this is tariffs. Tariffs are taxes placed on imported goods, and governments use them not only for economic reasons but also for political and strategic purposes. The United States has, on multiple occasions, as we have seen before, imposed heavy tariffs on China and Chinese products to protect domestic industries. Um, the article also denotes globalization and economic independence. Um, the United States and China are fundamentally geopolitical rivals, but both countries are interconnected through various components such as trade, manufacturing, supply chains, and financial systems. Um, Another important connection to our this materials is that economic systems is tied to power and global influence. It's not about only solely increasing trade, but also the ability to shape global markets. And globalization has been a huge part of our um, previous uh, readings, right? Control of supply chains and international economic systems. Um, this also connects to our main uh, this or materials and readings this week about economic development and the factors that contribute to it. China's economic growth over the past few decades, as we all know, was heavily supported by government planning, which is state intervention, as we have come to know, industrial policy, and investment in infrastructure that is controlled and monitored tightly by the government. Meanwhile, the United States is increasingly using industrial policy and trade restrictions to strengthen domestic production and strategic industries. Overall, this article demonstrates that economics and politics are um, reliant and dependent on one another. Governments constantly make economic decisions based on national interests, security concerns, and global competition. The concepts from this class help explain and allow us to understand why countries sometimes they move away from completely free markets or the invisible hand and instead prioritize political and strategic goals. It is because through state intervention and the role of the governments in trying to um, move the markets or control it and make significant decisions, sometimes vast and significant growth can spur from it, as we can see from China's strong development in recent years. Thank you very much.